All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Green White Checker TV. Tonight we have the Area 51 Superspeedway series here tonight at iRacing Superspeedway. And I say we kind of got a feel for things last weekend with the All-Star race here. So these drivers are gonna be doing it again, so they get a little bit more familiar with the cars. So I think they're gonna be putting on an exciting show. Definitely saw a lot of action just during the practice runs. So it's going to be interesting to see how everybody's adjusting to these cars. Some of the drivers didn't make the All-Star race, so they might be getting familiar with things now. But yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of fun here tonight, Dale. Like I said, it's like kind of back to what we're used to. We're going to definitely see some pretty big drafting, some tandem drafting for sure. And then, of course, we'll definitely see a lot of strategy on when we're going to see those pit stops tonight. As it sounds like the fuel window's in the low 20s here, at least during practice. We'll see. I'm sure some drivers will be stretching it. But yeah, so we'll have to see how that's going to pan out tonight as well.
Yeah, low 20s. So, with 75 laps in the race, obviously they're not going to be able to go an entire fuel run on one end of the race. There's going to have to be a short pit. So that, that's where, like you talked about, that's where the strategy is going to come into play. And that's where this race really has a chance to be shaken up.
Yeah, so saying going into tonight, say point standings, we're on race number 7 this evening. So say just cross the halfway point, and say, of course, next up's going to be our final 3 playoff race. But say again, that top 8 is going to be the ones we're going to be looking for. So right now, those in that top 8 position are Gabe Butler, Kevin Hash, Jim Brooks, Kevin Freeze, Matt Quick, Raymond Rittenauer, Todd Siebels, and Chad Wilkes. Actually, both those drivers tied in that points position. So really tight between the two of them, and they say right behind him you got Brandon Pasalacqua, Bobby Hash, Todd Merkel. So, actually I skipped Mark Brown there. Apologies. So yeah, there's still a lot of potential drivers in this group here that could jump into that top 8 position. And I believe qualifying just has completed. So with that, we got to go over our I should say our starting grid. And it's going to be the 81 here, Dale. Todd Merkel taking the pole. I'll say it's been a while since we've seen anybody kind of dethrone some of those other guys that we talked about, kind of the usual suspects, if you will. Todd Merkel, say, looks like he might have something here with these Xfinity cars on the pole position. You got Kevin Hash second, Gabe Butler in third. You got Dude Conrad, Matt Quick rounding out our top 5. And then 6th through 8th, you got Quabi Brooks, Eric Laurie, and Mark Brown. Then 9th through 16th, Craig Forsyth, Dale Willoughby, Raymond Rittenauer, Chad Wilkes, Alberto Lopez, Harrison Womack, John Brill, and Bobby Hash. And you see we have a lot of drivers that decided not to grid here tonight. So say we're going to have a lot of drivers actually maybe further forward than they're hoping to be tonight. You see Matt Wagner in 17th. Then you got James Ledford, Kyle Hess, Dwight Plesh, Roy Grandy, Jim Brooks, Michael Spell, Bud Steele. And then the remainder here, Todd Siebels, Nick Monfretti, Dean Wilkinson, Randy Miner, and Paul Patterson. All right, so while we wait for the rest of the field here to grid, I mean, this is. I remember we talked to Todd last week after his podium finish in the All-Star race, and he said he felt like he had something with these Xfinity cars, especially. I mean, we saw obviously got a podium here last week, so he's backing it up here tonight, Dale, with that pole position. So this switch from the Cup cars to the Xfinity cars might go right into the kind of the plans here for the 81 of Todd Merkel tonight.
Yeah, and given his qualifying time, I think you're right. Some guys absolutely love the Cup car. They love the way they drive. They love, the power, everything about them. And there's guys who just aren't so fond of them, especially after the draft package changed. So this Xfinity car, like we saw in the All-Star race, it's going to allow some drivers that just weren't as comfortable in the Cup car to kind of show their face and show what they can do in these races.
Yeah, you're exactly right. So it's going to be very interesting to see how it all pans out tonight. So as we see the field go ahead and get rolling out of here. So again, 75 laps is a scheduled distance this evening. Say no guarantees we'll get to that actual distance or not, as you see the field's coming out of the pits now. Say again, big track here, Dale. It's about 3 miles long. Long straightaways, very high banked turns there. So say almost like I said, we always talk about being kind of a Dover on steroids, just the way this track is shaped and formed and everything. So it's going to be very interesting to see what these guys are going to be able to do here tonight.
Yeah, you can as everybody's trying to grid up here, you can really see just the pure size of the track. Is still got guys coming off the corners trying to catch the pack.
Yeah, I was going to mention the same thing. I'll say some of the drivers got a little bit behind on the kind of getting out of the grid, if you will. So there's plenty of time to catch up. But yeah, I mean, you're exactly right, though. I mean, again, with this being a 3 mile track, I mean, you pretty much if you're a straightaway behind, you're over a mile off the leader. So I just tell you just the overall just size and length of this track. It's definitely one that's going to be a difficult one for these drivers to manage. The other thing to mention too is just the fact that this the banking here. I mean, when you're in the turns, we'll hop on board with some of these drivers, but when you're in these turns, there's going to be some times where you really can't see what's too far out in front of you. So these drivers have to be very careful tonight. All right, pace car is in. Todd Merkel going to lead the way here. Wait for that green flag to fly, and then he will drop the hammer. And again, 75 laps is the race distance. As you see, the cars all kind of juke to the right just a little bit on the initial throttle. And we are underway here at iRacing Superspeedway.
Look at the start with Kevin Hash.
Yeah, I say Kevin was ready to go there. He gets a great jump, got through the gears quickly. I think you're right. I say usually that top side's where you do not want to be, but actually you see right off the bat, here comes the Ada Dude Conrad. He's going to jump to the top of him. So we'll see if he's going to kind of keep that momentum built up, but right now he does not have the help he's looking for. So I think the momentum going to shift back to that 0-3. If Kevin Hash, as I say, that Gabe Butler, he's going to jump to the middle here. I think he's going to try to get lead lap number 1 here.
Yeah, seeing some really aggressive driving for what we've seen. You know, the first half of this season, just due to the draft package, the car change, and all that. There's definitely a lot of guys that you can tell who are very comfortable with this Xfinity car.
Yeah, looks like Gabe Butler's going to get his wish, lead that first lap here at the iRacing Superspeedway. So say mark that number 1 down as leading lap number 1 here. As again, still a long ways to go.
Oh, looks like the 7's around.
Back, yeah, say a lot of cars getting caught up early. Oh, you can see the 7 flipping around here. Saw a few others get caught up in this one as well. Looks like the 76 of Jim Brooks a little further up. He's got in it. Trying to see some of the other cars in there as well. I see the 17 of Chad Wilkes as well. And I saw another car as well. I'm trying to catch who that one was. I'm going to see the 45 a little bit on the 45 of Todd Siebel's also here. So a lot of cars getting caught up in this early one. Oh, it's the 101 Randy Miner. That's the other car I saw there. So yeah, quick incident here. A lot of drivers going to have to use that faster pair right off the bat, Dale. Definitely not what they had in store, or not what they had in mind for that beginning tonight.
Yeah, just one of them unfortunate things. And again, like I talked about, some people's comfortable in the car, other people still learning it. And I think that was just, guys trying to get used to this different setup.
Yeah, and I actually just take a quick look at it now. Just the 7 got maybe a little higher than he meant to, got into the 17. Oh, actually, Michael Spell, he took a pretty big shot as well. And then, the 45 of Todd Siebels, he's the one that really drilled that 7 car. So that's what sent him around. But see Chad Wilkes also some contact. We'll say Bud Steele as well. Jim Brooks caught up in that one as well. So we'll go back and get a little bit of a different angle from these guys, see how they got kind of involved in it as well here as we come through 3 and 4 again, or through 1 and 2, I should say. You see that contact that we mentioned. Then I said, unfortunately for 17, just goes right across the nose of Kyle Hess. And then Jim Brooks, nowhere for him to go. Same for the, let's say, 48 James Ledford. May have gotten away with it. But yeah, then unfortunately right into the path of that 6 of Bud Steele. And also the 101. So a lot of cars with a lot of damage. So definitely going to be a fair amount of faster pairs here right off the bat. So see how that's going to have to change their game plans a little bit, Dale, because again, we talked about that. Just trying to obviously save that strategy, or the strategy, save that faster pair for later in the race. But looks like we're going to have some mixed strategy here on the pit stop side of things. You see a lot of leaders actually going to be coming in here. Looks like just get a splash of fuel. So it looks like the 2 that got the worst of it are going to be that 7 of Dale Willoughby. He had to take a tow. And then also the 45 Todd Siebels. He's actually lost a lap from this. So we're going to have 2 cars that are going to be down at least 1 lap. Jim Brooks and Randy Miner, they're able to get their faster pair and get back out on track and stay on the lead lap here. So that's going to leave us 26 on the lead lap here. But yeah, like I said, though, also a big strategy call for drivers topping off here on that 1 to go. Or not on the 1 to go, sorry, topping off here on this caution, though. And I believe it's going to be about the top 5. Yeah, top 5 drivers that went ahead and stayed out from that 29 of Nick Manfredi on forward.
Yeah, and I don't think it's necessarily a bad call to keep the track position right now, because they still, that doesn't eliminate that short pit. Being on lap 4, they haven't used enough fuel, haven't gone far enough to eliminate them having a short pit later on.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a big what do you call it? Yeah, I don't think it's going to hurt these 5 that stay out for sure. And I'm saying I feel like you probably feel pretty comfortable as well when you see some of the guys that did stay out, like Kevin Hash, Raymond Rittenauer, Bobby Hash. You're probably feeling a little more comfortable. Like say some of these guys we're used to seeing out front week after week. Say one thing I did notice though, that 29 car though of Nick Manfredi, I was looking at him as we're under caution. He does have a little bit of damage, that 29 machine, so it doesn't look too bad, but definitely a little bit scuffed up on that left side. So I'll have to see, kind of keep an eye and see how that car is going to run in the long run here. Once I get all the way fully up to speed here. But right now, say Todd Siebels, he is back out on track. He's marked 1 lap down there in the 45. Right now, Dave Willoughby still stuck in the pits here. Hopefully, he's going to be able to cycle out here after that tow. I think I just saw the tires going on that car, so I think he's going to get rolling just a moment. He's going to have to hustle, though, Dale, because if he can stay just the 1 down, it's going to be a huge benefit for him. Luckily, he's got a pretty early pit stall here, so I think he's just going to stay in front of the pace car here, I believe, which will allow him to stay just that 1 lap down. But, man, that was tight.
Yeah, that's one of those situations. If you got to speed, you got to speed. You can't go that extra lap down.
Exactly right. So that keeps him in the running here to try to get that lucky dog on the next potential caution. So up front, though, say it looks like Kevin Hash is going to take the inside line, Raymond Rittenauer to his outside. And then you're going to have Bobby Hash on the inside with Kyle Hess to his outside for our first 2 rows. And then our first car that topped off under that yellow, the 81 of Todd Merkel, our poles that are tight. And so he's going to restart in that 6th position in the 81.
Yeah, just looking at the grid, Raymond Rittenauer up 10 spots already. Bobby Hash, 13 spots, 15 for Kyle Hess, and then 20 positions for Nick Manfredi. So I think, all these drivers kind of agree that the track position is more important than a couple extra drops of fuel right now.
Yeah, exactly right. So I think that's going to be, again, let's say that you're going to have the mixed strategy of track position versus having the clean air, if you will, and having, like I said, maybe having at this point, maybe a gallon more fuel. Not going to be a ton by any means. So the other thing, though, these guys are going to have to be careful is a lot of those guys also topped off on that 1 to go. I think it's led off by the 8 of Dude Conrad. So he's going to be one of those first cars on that inside line. So he's going to have to make sure that they don't lose this draft on this restart. All right, pace car's back in. This time, Kevin Hash, he's going to be able to drop whenever he wants to. You can tell they are down and away already. Now these guys got to try to get situated here quickly to try to help their cause out. You see Raymond Rittenauer, he's going to get kind of pinned to the top side. You see the 03 of Kevin Hash. He's going to pick him up, though. That might open the door for Bobby Hash to get that lead on the inside line here.
Yeah, Matt Quick was back there getting some big help. They've kind of broke it up now, but I really thought they were trying to make a move to the front early on.
We do have one making a move right away, and that's the 86 of Kyle Hess. He gets the big run here off the backstretch, and you can see he jumps to the top, but doesn't get the help from Raymond Rittenauer. So it looks like we got the inside line. Those 4 are going to work together here on this inside line. As here comes the outside line, is going to get a little bit of help here from the 81 of Todd Merkel, and we're going to get a better look here at that 27 of Craig Forsyth, that paint scheme, because it's definitely got an interesting paint on the hood. They're trying to see who or what it is. Hopefully we'll get a chance to get a better look at it.
I think it's a little Corey LaJoie inspiration in that car.
Oh, you see Todd Merkel, big bobble there in 1 and 2. He's going to try to have to shuffle back up to the top side. Looks like he's going to keep it off the wall and able to avoid the other cars, but it's going to cost him a handful of spots here right away. But a good job hanging on to that thing, because that's where things get very hairy very quickly. But up front, though, Kevin Hash, you feel probably pretty good when you got your brother here right behind you with Bobby Hash. So again, we talked about some of our usual suspects, and you see you got those top 4 all lined up on the inside row. So we'll see what they're able to if they're able to kind of keep this momentum up here.
Yeah, like I said, the top 4, Kevin and Bobby Hash, Raymond Rittenauer, Matt Quick, those guys are going to stay nose to tail as long as they can, and not pressure each other a whole bunch.
Yeah, so I think the only thing we might see is those guys just maybe draft that a little bit tighter if they can to try to help that line kind of keep the momentum up on that side. As you see, Bobby Hash gets right to the back of the 0-3 there of Kevin Hash. So I'll say they're doing exactly what they need to do here.
Yeah, but the top side's coming, being led by the 86 car, Kyle Hess, and you got Craig Forsyth and Matt Wagner back there. I noticed when Craig went to the high side, Matt Wagner was right there with him. It wasn't even a thought that he was going with him. So those two drivers have definitely discussed this pre-race a little bit, I believe. And I talked to Matt, and he's real excited about doing this and wants to win very, very badly today.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we've been able to talk to him a little bit, and yeah, you're exactly right. Definitely wants to be able to be in position at the end. So he's been really close a lot of times, like right at the last pit stop, and just seems like after the last pit stops when everything went wrong for him. So yeah, so I think you're right, Dale. If he can be in contention here, maybe coming to the white flag, I think that's going to be his big goal for this evening. Like I said, though, he's going to have a lot of difficult cars to try to compete with against to make that happen tonight. As he's Raymond Rittenauer, he gets on the apron there, gets into Kyle Hess, and we have another caution. Gabe Butler gets a big shot. A lot of cars coming through here. So we got another big one here at iRacing Superspeedway. Unfortunately, are taking out, again, a couple number of contenders here tonight. So let's go back and look. But it just looked like Raymond just maybe misjudged the entry there into 3. I'll say it's very easy to kind of lose where you are on track here and kind of hit that inside the apron here. Yeah, you see it hits way too early there. Unfortunately, Kyle has nothing he can do. And so you can see Kyle, he's going to go around as well. And actually, so we'll jump over to Kyle Hess as well because, yeah, you see, he catches Alberto Lopez, Matt Quick as well. So honestly, it looks like it's going to be more of who wasn't caught up in this one because there's a lot of cars that had some damage from this incident here. So some I see hitting the pits already are Kyle Hess, Matt Quick, Alberto Lopez, James Ledford, Raymond Rittenauer, Gabe Butler as well. So so you see just a handful right off the bat there. So let's get back to the live session though, Dale, because we'll kind of keep an eye on those to see what we're going to have to do on the pit stop side of things. But again, yeah, quick yellow here at the iRacing Superspeedway. So it seems like, I don't know, it just seems like maybe this new package, like I said, a few drivers didn't run that race last week, but definitely catching a few guys out here.
Just going back and watching, when Raymond Rittenauer came up top, came across the nose, Craig Forsyth, I mean, you couldn't have got a gnat in between him and Raymond Rittenauer on that.
Yeah, I'll say that car is still in good shape. So actually, say while you mentioned that, let's go back and take a look too on the 27 Craig Forsyth, see how close that was. I'll say it's always, like I said, you can get a couple of different angles than I can see as well. So I'll say we'll go back and take a look as they were through 3 and 4. So we'll actually hop on board here. I actually don't have time to switch to that, sorry. Oh, you're right, though. Here comes Matt Quick right across. Oh, my goodness. You are right. Matt Quick just barely missed Craig there. That could have been huge for the two of them. But yeah, so say Craig Forsyth. I'd say maybe he's got the luck of the paint scheme here so far, at least for this first incident. Say definitely what he was be hoping for to avoid that one. Also, though, I think Todd Merkel may have gotten away with this one. See, he goes for a big slide, but I don't think he actually ever really hits anything. I'll say we'll follow him along here. Oh, as I said, I was proven wrong. He hit the inside wall pretty hard there. Sorry, Todd. But yeah, no, so actually a pretty good shot for that 81 car, unfortunately, as well. And so I believe Lucky Dog that last time by went to the 45 of Todd Siebel's. But with that pit stop strategy, I don't know if you see where you are, Dale, but sitting right in front of the leaders here on the tail end of the lead lap is at 7 and Dale Willoughby. So I say that's going to allow Dale here to take the wave around. He's going to, again, he'll be on a little bit older, less fuel than the rest of these guys. Probably about, looks like 8 to 9 laps. But so he's going to be able to get his lap back this way here on this one to go.
Yeah, 8 laps shorter, so he's going to be able to run about 12 or 13 laps, maybe even 14. But the important thing is, like you said, he's going to be back on the lead lap. If another caution comes out, everything's good as long as he's not involved. He'll be able to come in, top off, get tires, everything he needs to do. So this is like the best case scenario for him at this time.
I'll say you see him actually going around the pace car now, but so now that I'm looking at it though, I think I still see the lights on the pace car. I thought we were going to get the one to go here as well, but so it looks like caution may have been extended there. So hopefully he didn't jump the gun there. And I'm saying, so we said we got some. Say we always joke about like the insider info and such. Talking about the 03 of Kevin Hash and the 3 of Bobby Hash. So I'll say Larry, one of our dominant drivers in the Cup Series, he's mentioning, say, probably a little bit of advantage there under the hood from the Hash brothers performance with the LS1, their LS1 shop that they've got going on with those guys, to say. So it might be exactly what we see going on here, why those two were up front there at the beginning.
And to be honest, they're pretty savvy about who they sponsor, because one of their drivers actually gets to mention them on the air nearly every week.
Yeah, you're not wrong about that. I say we joked about the streak that Larry had with on the Cup Series of podium finishes, those top 3 finishes. I want to say, if I'm not mistaken, other than one of the All-Star races a few seasons ago, it went to about 17 races straight with Larry Yingling finishing in the top 3. So you're exactly right. And I mean, he missed that one a few weeks back, but they're literally the next race he's back into the top 3. So other drivers are going to have to be careful to say if he's going to continue that streak again here. All right, so now I suspect we will see the one to go. As you see the 8 there of Dude Conrad, he's going to hit the pits here and top off a little bit. And I was saying it's going to be close here, Dale. So he's going to be topping off here at 63 to go. I was saying, obviously, based on what we've seen earlier, say it's hard to kind of bank on it going caution free, but with the just the potential of it, say he's going to will be restarting with 62 to go. So, I mean, if you base on that, say you go 21 laps on a fuel run, that'd be right on that number.
Yeah, not leaving any kind of room for a green, white checkered situation, but yeah, that would put you exactly right there.
So say again, field shook up a little bit here on this gonna be on this restart. So you see Matt Wagner, he's back up into the 2nd position now. Saying got that country time car on the inside line, the 30 of John Brill, the 90 of John Brill. Sorry, I'm thinking back to Michael Waltrip days there. So he's up into that 3rd position on that inside row. We mentioned Craig Forsyth already, but a couple other drivers we haven't really talked about yet. That 28, the Monster Energy car, Harrison Womack. Again, I think relatively new to the league, but say right now up into that top 6 position there for that number 28 car. So he's going to be kind of going right after, say, kind of in the thick of things here on this restart.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing I also, just kind of looking at those here is Kevin Hash is kind of by himself, compared to the last restart. And he does have, I don't know that they're exactly teammates, but it definitely friends, Matt Wagner and Craig Forsyth there on the top side.
Yeah, exactly right. So he's got a couple, Kevin Hash has a couple of cars behind him to get to Bobby Hash. Let's say then after Bobby, you see you got the 071 Eric Laurie. He's right there as well. Say a little bit of nose damage, if I'm not mistaken, on that 071 as well. Kind of center punched a little bit, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. But say we're about to get things back underway here. You see the pace car pulls off. Now it's going to be up to Kevin when he wants to go. Saying again, without having some of his kind of teammates and friends around him here, say it looks like he might be waiting just a little bit longer there. As now we get underway here, as we are going to start lap number 14, 62 to go.
Yeah, Matt Wagner got a good start there, but it's not going to be enough at this time at least. John Brill is going to be able to draft right back up to the 03.
Yeah, so that's where everybody's going to try to fight to get to that inside line, I think, initially. But we're going to see that top line definitely build the momentum here on the exit. So the one I'm going to be watching, John Brill, does he stay in line, or is he going to try to jump and lead that top group and kind of pick up the momentum? It looks like he's going to stay dedicated to the 03 of Kevin Hash. But it's like talked about, though, there comes the 1127. They're going to get hooked up here on that top side, and they're starting to close that gap again.
Yeah, but there was a big drafting difference. John Brill, which is right on the bumper, that 03 of Kevin Hash, pushing him down the straightaway. And the top line hasn't really been able to make that kind of, bumper-to-bumper connection.
And as I said, John Brill, he's going to jump to the top there, see if he can get the momentum around the 03. But as he does that, though, here comes the 11, Matt Wagner. He's going to try to get 2 for 1 here. 3 wide, entering turn number 1. You see the 90 wash up just a little bit there. You see Matt trying to squeeze him down a bit, trying to give himself a little bit of extra breathing room. But I say, unfortunately, with both those guys making those moves, it actually kind of is going to shuffle both of them back here, which is now going to bring the 73 of Mark Brown right up into the mix here in that second position.
Yeah, I think the 11, was really banking on the 27 going with him, and just kind of wasn't a great time because Craig wasn't really close enough to make that move.
Yeah, as again, you see Matt's going to jump to the outside of John Brill here, so we're going to have 3 wide here for about the third position as the 90 and 11 almost touched there on the front stretch. Also seeing the one here, Gabe Butler. He's right now 1 lap down, but he is not riding, so I think Gabe's going to try to get his lap back the old-fashioned way. In the number 1 machine, I say he's been able to get up to about the 5th place on track here. I'm saying if there's anybody who can do it, we know he's definitely got the pace to do so, but right now just does not have the help here to push him forward.
No, yeah, I mean that's obviously the best way to do it, especially being this close to the front. Get up there, get in front of Kevin Hash. Kevin's not going to fight him a whole bunch, I wouldn't suspect, and just get the lap back the old-fashioned way.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Didn't get the help. You see he's actually dropped back a handful of spots. He's going to line up here behind Craig Forsyth. So that's going to now get the outside line is going to be again led by John Brill, and that number 90 car, Matt Wagner, now locked onto him. So I think now these two are going to, they've seen that they got to work together, I think, to make this top side work. As I say that though, I don't know how they didn't spin there. You saw the 11 almost get into the right rear or the left rear of the 90 car. But you saw Matt roll out of it a little bit just to prevent the contact, just barely. Almost another big incident there.
Yeah, Matt wants to get around him so bad. You can see it. He keeps poking around, to the outside, and he wants to go so bad, but he just doesn't have the kind of support behind him that he needs to make that happen.
Yeah, I think those couple of cautions early, I think drivers are kind of adjusting their aggressiveness, and as I think that's what's going on right now is that a lot of these guys just aren't ready to make those big moves as of yet. I think some of these guys again wanting to wait for the just the track position, the pit stop game. I think that's when they really want to see these big moves start to happen. I think that's what I'm suspecting, at least from these guys up front here. So, but we'll keep an eye. Say he's like, again, big wobble for those guys as we're getting really dicey up front here.
Yeah, I was watching John Brill when he gets ready to enter the corner. He kind of rides back out toward the wall, anticipating that lower line is going to wash up. So that's real good, safe driving on John Brill's part.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So you I'd say when you're running that middle to top groove, you have to drive defensively. You can't kind of predict that those guys are going to hug that bottom perfectly, but say now Matt's been able to get around him. He's got some help from the 28 there of Harrison Womack. As soon as I say that, though, Harrison, he's going to jump to the top here, take that momentum, saying it looks like he's just about enough momentum here to clear these guys for the lead, but again, that outside line is going to slow him down a little bit, even with the help from John Brill here. So right now, this outside line just won't stay formed up enough to challenge that 0-3 of Kevin Hash.
Yeah, and they're racing. Kevin Hash is out in the good. He's got the 73 right behind him pushing. Not really worried about what's going on the outside of him because they're racing so hard, they're not even in competition at the moment.
Yeah, exactly right. As you see again, as I watch him from the back of Kevin Hash now. That's the other thing that Kevin has going for him is right behind that car of Mark Brown is Bobby Hash. And now you see Gabe Butler. He gives a big push to that 11 of Matt Wagner. This is probably the lead change that he was hoping to see. He's going to waste no time, jump to the inside line, so he's going to take over the point. But now Gabe's going to try to get some help on that outside line to see if he can get back and get his lap back here and be at the tail end of the lead lap here in that number 1 machine.
Yeah, and that really was just a great push off the nose of the 1 car there. Gabe understands what's at stake and what he's got to do is they're going to clear Matt Wagner in a big way.
Yeah, so that's going to move Gabe Butler to the tail end of the lead lap for a moment, but now it's going to be the 28 and the 90 on the top side, but now Harrison Womack, he's kind of hung out here a little bit on the top side. So again, the momentum starting to shift around both ways here. As you see, the 90 John Brill thought about peeking out. He's going to jump back to the inside here, saying this is going to, I think, play into the hands now of the one of Gabe Butler here to try to be that first car, or I should say be on the tail end of the lead lap in that number 1 machine if Matt stays with him here.
Yeah, and Gabe's not, the only thing he's really doing, he got his lap back, but he's helping some guys behind him save fuel at this point. He's not really affecting Kevin Hash's race, other than Kevin's getting a little better fuel mileage than he had been.
Yeah, and you saw Matt Wagner. He wanted to try to get back around the 1 car. Didn't get the help he needed, though, from anybody. Now they get to him, but you see Matt makes a big jump to the inside line there as soon as he had the opening there right in front of Mark Brown. So And kind of, again, that's what I suspected we would see there, because it's like I said, we see the 1-0-3, we see them working together frequently. So say right now, Gabe Butler is going to lead this field, but again, right now sitting at the tail end of the lead lap.
Yeah, they're coming up on, it looks like Matt Quick's going to go another lap down here.
Yeah, I think Matt Quick, I didn't see what happened, but I think him and James Ledford got burned by a pit penalty somewhere along the lines in this one. So they're both sitting at 2 laps down, so most likely a 40-second stop and hold, unfortunately. So right now, Matt's going to go, so it's going to actually put him down 3 laps, while James Ledford's about a full straightaway ahead of the leaders there, but also at 2 laps down here.
You know, we talked a little bit earlier about Dale Willoughby and Todd Siebels and the length of their fuel run. They're now at 21 laps on the current fuel run, so they're going to have to make a move here very soon.
Yeah, so they might be ducking in shortly. And saying the problem with that is this is definitely a track where you cannot make a green flag pit stop without losing a lap just with the overall pace. Leaders running in the 230s, almost touching 240 at times in this draft package. So when these guys are going to have to slow down to 65 miles an hour to get into their pits, just think about the speed difference there, almost 180 miles an hour difference between the pit speed and track speed.
Yeah, and it takes a long time to get slowed down to pit lane speed, and it takes a long time to get ramped back up to race speed.
Yeah, you're exactly right. So we'll have to see if and actually here he comes now. It's going to be the 7 Dale Willoughby. He's going to come in on his own here. So now he's got to make sure he gets down to pit speed, and looks like he does a good job of doing so. So like you said, that's going to leave Todd Siebels now. He's going to be probably next in line to make that pit stop in the 45 car. But yeah, so we'll have to see now where that 7 cycles out here after the pit stops are completed.
Yeah, Matt Wagner, I keep seeing him poke out. I mean, it looks like he wants to go. I think he's in a really good spot. He's just got to relax a little bit. You know, he's currently running second, so you can't be mad about that.
Yeah, this is where you want to be up front when the pit stop cycle begins. So if you're the 11 car, you're in a really good spot here. Like you said, Dale, I think you stay where you are. And this is actually, I think you try to save fuel as well. You just kind of ride here, as you see, actually gives a little shot to the 03 there. But I think actually you roll out of the throttle a little bit. You save as much fuel as you can here, because let's say if you can get that extra lap of fuel, maybe get a clean pit entry, that can definitely go a long ways for you there, as you see them go around the 7 there. So it's going to put him that lap down like we mentioned, and unfortunately also going to probably get him out of the draft, so he won't be able to hang on to that lead pack here to stay in touch with them. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how things kind of continue for him once his pit stop cycle completes with the rest of the field.
Yeah, things have really calmed down as this run kind of weighed on a little bit. About 6, maybe 7 laps, it looks like, until the next round of green flag pit stops. The guys are really starting to settle in and mellow out.
Yeah, exactly right. And I mean, for me, hats off to Todd Siebels. He still stays out here, Dale. He's on lap 24 since he's last pitted. Don't know how he's been able to stretch this car that far, but he's done a really good job saving fuel. And the other one I want to keep an eye on tonight is going to be the 8 of Dude Conrad. He's got a little bit of right rear damage, but he was one of the drivers that actually topped off on the 1 to go. So he's got he pitted basically 2 laps later than the lead pack. So can that kind of turn into maybe going an extra lap or 2 on fuel? Again, might be able to get him a clean pit entry and exit here in that 8 machine.
I think what I'm going to have to start doing is when we once we figure out what our pit numbers are going to be on the fuel window, I'm going to start adding about 5 or 6 laps to it, because every week somebody seems to do what we feel is the impossible.
Yeah, so as we say that, Todd Siebels, he hits the pits now, so he's pitting on lap 24. So not too wild there. I mean, obviously some cautions to help him save a little bit of fuel there. So right now still Kevin Hash leading the way. But you see on the top side, though, again, John Brill, he's really starting to kind of keep the momentum going out top here in that number 90 machine. Still got Craig Forsyth right with him. Also, you see the 071 Eric Lorry's in there. We just mentioned, obviously, the 8 there of Dude Conrad. And then unfortunately, the 20, we saw Alberto Lopez. He had some damage earlier. He's right back into the thick of things here in that 20 machine. As I said, you see he's going to jump to the inside here. I think drivers starting to kind of jockey for that low line here once the pit stop windows are going to open. As I say that, John Brill, he finds an opening here, sneaks in right in front. Well, he did sneak in front of the 81 there, but now he's going to jump back and use that momentum and keep trying to push forward.
Yeah, that top line just kind of inching up little by little on toward the leaders here. And if I'm the 1 of Gabe Butler, that might start to concern me a little bit, because he has to stay out in front of everyone for this to work for him.
Yeah, exactly right. I mean, right now he's definitely doing what he needs to. We do need to mention, say, here comes the 48 James Ledford. We talked about him also being one of those likely with a pit penalty there, along with 89 and Matt Quick. So I think you see James Ledford, he's going to run the top side, let these guys go on by, and then try to cycle back in here. And so the other thing, Dale, we talked about the fuel window. Like I said, if they can go about, it looks like about probably 2-3 more laps, that's going to be what's about 44, 45 to go. So again, still I think going to be outside that window of not being able, or not having to take that little extra splash.
Yeah, and they'll start, as the race progresses, guys will start figuring out exactly what they need to do, where they need to save, and how much. And they'll start getting that final pit stop calculated in their mind to reduce the time as much as they possibly can.
Yeah, exactly right. So you see, again, everybody's really starting to shuffle to the inside line. Right now, the first car on the top side is that 28 of Harrison Womack. Say he's got Matt Quick with him here. So say I suspect what we'll see here is I think Matt's going to probably try to push this 28 to the front, get himself to the front as well. That way, say, gives him some opportunities for that pit stop, maybe go that extra lap or so to maybe, let's say, if he can get to go from 3 laps down to 2 laps down. Obviously, every lap's going to be extremely critical. So I think these two could be ones to kind of put that pressure on that inside line here.
Yeah, and you got that 8 of Dude Conrad back there too, and Dude Conrad's another one of the guys who are just so good at super speedways. I mean, all these guys are. Don't get me wrong, that's why they're here. Well, you mentioned the usual suspects. He's definitely one of them.
Yeah, exactly right. And you see, I mean, they've been able to get up to the 0-3 of Kevin Hash here. Again, pit window is going to be opening very shortly for these guys. Actually, I think I just saw one peel off, a couple peel off now. It's going to be the 86 of Kyle Hess, Michael Spell, Dean Wilkinson, Randy Miner. Those 4 drivers all hitting pit road here with 45 laps remaining. We're going to jump back to this lead battle here with that 28 and the 0-3 side by side. You see the 11 wash up just a little bit there. As you can see, oh, big bobble there by the 28 there off of turn number 2, though. Yeah,
that's a sketchy position to be in when everybody's moving around so much, and it's just the nature of this track and how the corners are built, how the suspension loads and all that. As you see the 0-3 of Kevin Hash do the same thing.
Yeah, you saw Matt Wagner had to check up a little bit to avoid the contact. Okay, here we go. Some pit stops are starting here. Oh, we got trouble in the pit entry. The 071 Eric Laurie is going to get the worst of it, but he's going to be able to get back down. So I think it's going to prevent a caution from coming out here. But what that's going to do now is that's going to put the 28 of Harrison Womack to the point. So now we'll keep an eye on these guys up front here. As I say, we got a handful of drivers leading the way, going that extra lap or so.
Yeah, and you gotta stretch it out as far as you can at this point. Every lap is going to count, and it's, as we've seen nearly every week, it makes a big difference at the end of these races.
Yeah, exactly right. Obviously, the in and out laps are going to be critical as well. So it's good for these guys to split up. You see Harrison Womack, he's I think he's signaling that he's hitting the pits. Yep, here he comes. Matt Wagner going in with him. So say again, Mr. Fuel Save, that 89 of Matt Quick, he's going to keep going here. That's going to put Dude Conrad to the point. But for Matt Quick, that's going to put him on the tail end of 2 laps down. So obviously getting that lap could be extremely critical for him in his chance to get back into this race.
Yeah, and Matt Quick, he's pretty much the only one on his current fuel strategy as he's on lap 16 of his fuel run.
Yeah, you're exactly right. So he can actually go a handful more than the rest of these guys. So it'll be interesting to see how his strategy kind of is going to unfold here tonight. Because I suspect Dude Conrad might be able to go another lap here if he needs to. Say we talked about him being able to go a little further. Actually, as I said, he's going to duck in here with Matt Quick. So I think this is just going to complete the pit stop. You see him have to actually move to the inside to prevent getting hit by the 8 car. It looked like a little bit hot on entry there, so hopefully they get by okay with it. So that's going to be our complete pit cycle here. So now it's going to be all about who gets out first, which at the moment looks like it could be the 53 of Quabi Brooks. It's a very quick pit stop here, 8.6 seconds. So right now he's going to cycle through at the point. Once pit stops are completed, he's going to have help from Matt Wagner and Jim Brooks, though. So you can see, though, the field definitely spread out here after this round.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, aside from the couple incidents we saw, it really was a great round of pit stops. Matt Quick watching both the tachometer, watching the line, watching what's going on behind him and all that, keep him getting ran into. Great job in that 89 machine.
Yeah, exactly right. And so actually, Matt Wagner, you see he's going to cycle in right behind Quabi Brooks. Right now, race leader is actually still going to be showing as Todd Merkel for the moment as he's exiting the pits. Unfortunately, though, pit penalties, it's going to be burning the Ada Duke Conrad. Was too hot on entry. It looks like he's still sitting in his pit stall for a little bit more. So that's going to most likely drop him at least one lap. As I say, while you got the top two here, the 11 and the 53 leading the way, that second group that pitted a little earlier, they're coming with a big head of steam.
Yeah, that's a good point there. How the speed difference between this larger group and then what Quabi and Matt Wagner is running. I don't think the 76 is going to try to make any big moves here, but you never know.
No, I suspect you're going to see Jim right here, just right on the inside line. So we saw him a few weeks back actually pushing Quabi to the win. So I think he's hoping to be in that same position. You see Matt actually tries to jump up and maybe a little bit slow some momentum down. But now we're going to have, again, battle for the lead here now with Kevin Hash with help from the 17 of Chad Wilkes on the outside line. And again, here comes that one, and Gabe Butler, again, I think he's going to want to try to get back to the tail end of the lead lap here in that one machine. So we'll have to keep an eye on him as well. As you see, actually, he's going to jump to the top here. But right now just doesn't have anybody going with him, so I don't know if this is going to work.
Now, we haven't really seen much of Chad Wilkes yet today, but he's up 6 positions from 12th. Actually, I'm sorry, 8 positions from 12th, making his name known.
Yeah, I want to say he's also unfortunate. I think he's had to use his faster pair, so I think this is what he's got the rest of the way. So you got to kind of balance that risk versus reward here. But that inside line, they held steady there, Dale. And so right now the 53-11 still lead the way here. And also, again, they're going to have that one extra lap of fuel than the rest of these guys. As right now we just crossed with 40 to go. So now the question is going to be, again, the pit strategy. Does anybody consider maybe jumping in early here, just take that little bit of a splash of fuel now? Or do you wait and save it towards the rest and later portion of the race? As you see the field here actually catching up to now the 89 of Matt Quick again, who right now is at tail end of 2 down. Let's say obviously he's going to try to stay in that position, but those two are going to jump to the top, and we'll see if they can get around him here.
Yeah, they're going to have to get around him quick. I mean, just being up there, it can slow you down just so much. As Jim Brooks is about to clear him, but they also have the 8 to get around.
Yeah, I didn't actually see the Ada Dude Conrad, so they've done a really good job of getting through here. But I say that's where the issue is, though. You saw Jim Brooks, he got a little bit too high there. He's kind of bobbles here. Oh, we got a big stack up behind him. Oh, cars are around. That's the 86. That's going to bring the yellow out there, unfortunately, for Kyle Hess. I think it's just going to be pretty much a solo spin there. Unfortunately, that timing going to be kind of the worst opportunity for that number 89 car of Matt Quick, as he was just in that position until the very, very end there. So caution's going to be back out here, and I believe, so we'll just see between the 8, I think, of Dude Connery. I think Dude's going to actually be the beneficiary of this caution. He'll get that lucky dog and wave around.
Yeah, and if that's how it plays out, Gabe Butler's not going to be happy because he has worked so hard to stay, in that position, either the tail end of the lead lap or the first car 1 lap down. He's put a lot of work in it so far this race. It'd be kind of heartbreaking for him to miss that opportunity.
Yeah, it looks like actually a little bit of, I'd say, we'll have to see, because it looked like there was slight contact between the 8 and the 90 there, and I'd say that kind of accordion effect is what's wound up setting the 86 around. So again, just a little spin, so I think he's going to get away with it, but we mentioned, though, Dale, say with the way these cautions fall, say if you were involved in the incident with iRacing, the way they do things, it'll deem you not eligible for that lucky dog position, so it actually could wind up still potentially going to that number 1 of Gabe Butler. But what I suspect we're going to see the one do here is he pitted pretty late in that whole cycle. I kind of wonder if Gabe might be actually, maybe he stays out here and just tries to get the wave around, show the rest of the fields go ahead and top off, which I think we're going to see everybody pit here, because that'll put you in the window to make it on one more stop.
Yeah. I don't see anybody staying out. It really plays well for Dale Willoughby and Todd Siebels, as they're both 15 and 12 laps into their run. So it puts them back on the fuel strategy with everybody else. I don't see anybody staying out right here.
Yeah, taking a look, you see everybody's going ahead and peeling in. Say just those cars right now that are showing a lap or more down, and yeah, here they all come. So yeah, no strategy calls for these guys. Everybody's going to come in. I think the only strategy is going to be whether or not it's just fuel or tires. So we'll say we'll keep an eye on that 8 though of Dude Conrad, see if he does get the wave around or if it goes to the 1 car. So I think that's the only question that might be in store for us here. As right now, it looks like, looks like Gabe Butler, actually, he's going to get it, like we mentioned, Dude, I think getting caught up in that, just that little bit there. That's actually going to allow the 1 car, he's going to get the wave around. But as you see, though, dudes, he's going to stay out here, which will be able to let him get the way around on the one to go, but unfortunately won't allow him to top off on fuel, though.
And 5 laps on his current fuel run, that is the aided Dude Conrad. It's not necessarily going to hurt him a whole bunch, but if it goes green, it can definitely stack up on him.
Yeah, I say obviously that's really, yeah, like I said, it's going to really depend on how the cautions fall. And actually, we did have one leader, it looks like, stay out. That's going to be that number 27 of Craig Forsyth. I think that's just trying to get that car some TV time. So we talked about with that paint scheme he's got on it. So you got the Grumpy Cat in front of him in that number 89 car. So I'll try to get a better look at this thing. I say he's a little bit too far away there to get a good shot of it. I say, unfortunately, I don't have my updated cameras with the new mod we did. I say don't really have it all set up for this yet. But yeah, so I'm trying to tell Dale. I don't know if you can get a better view than I can here.
I'm not really sure. It's he's got quite a few cats on that car, but the one on the hood, it looks like it has a tongue out too, which is interesting.
Yeah, I see that too. Yeah, you're right. It's one of those like almost like the little squishy nose cats there. I don't say I forgot the breed, but yeah. So say Craig, like you said though, kind of the Corey LaJoie paint scheme, but in cat form this time around. And so for the pit stop strategies though, Dale, there was some strategy here. Matt Wagner, he took a splash of fuel. We saw Quabi, he did fuel only on his previous stop. He takes tires under this under this caution flag pit stop. So I think again, just try to minimize his pit stop time when they're under green, which I think is a good call here, because even with him taking that 4-tire stop, he's still going to be restarting, it looks like, in about the 7th position here.
And if we're being honest about it, he doesn't really need to take tires for the rest of the race. I mean, that'll be up to his judgment, obviously, but he can run the next 35 laps on the same set of tires.
Yeah, exactly right. And saying that's going to be the next thing here is we're going to restart with 35 to go. So this will be one more stop for everybody here to the end. I say the only ones maybe a little bit of a question mark are going to be now that 27 of Craig Forsyth, and of course Matt Quick. I say who's still unfortunately 2 down. James Ledford also stayed out, looks like, and then also Dude Conrad in the number 8 machine. But I say Dude pitted probably one of the latest ones, especially with that stop and hold he had. To say that's going to give him that little bit of extra fuel, so that could actually wind up helping his chances here as well. So. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what Craig's going to do with this fuel strategy, because unfortunately he's going to be the only car on this call here.
Yeah, you're right. You know, I'm looking at his fuel run. I'm looking at the 20 back there behind Matt Wagner. Alberto Lopez has a little front end damage. I'm kind of worried about how this top line is going to stack up when they go green here in just a second.
Yeah, so this is where I'm guessing, like we talked about, we saw the 27 and 11 work together here on the top side earlier, so maybe if they're in the same team channel, so they might kind of talk to each other, count this restart down, maybe allow that 11 to jump to the inside behind the 27 car. So it'll be interesting to see how this restart's going to go, because you see the pace car peels off. That's going to put it into the hands of Craig Forsyth, and we'll see when he goes, and he is down and away. And so now we're just going to see how they're able to get through the gears, and Matt Wagner cannot quite clear that number 03 of Kevin Hash, so he is going to get pinned to the top side for the moment.
Yeah, Kevin Hash just got a great start, and we see that every week out of him. He's one of the best when it comes to these restarts. But there's plenty of room behind him. Matt Wagner's going to take the opportunity to get to the bottom.
Yeah, so now Kevin's going to have to wait, though, to make the right move at the right time. As they say that you see Matt Wagner, he's going to waste no time. He jumps to the top, so we'll keep an eye on that one here, and we'll see what they got going on.
And Chad Wilkes is also up there working the top side, trying to get around the 28 car. But
yeah, you're right. So he's working the top. He's going to be the first to get to Matt Wagner. We saw Matt jump early, and so again, just he wants to go, but just he has to make sure that he's going to have the friends lined up with him to make it happen here. And as I say that, you see Chad Wilkes, he gets the big run to the outside. He's going to try to pass the 11 car. And we've seen this a lot here tonight. And again, it just seems to hurt both of the guys. As again, you see Chad Wilkes, when he jumps to the top, nothing can come from it, though. Able to get back in line there. But yeah, it seems like if you're going to run that top side, you've got to be dedicated.
You're absolutely right. And as you've seen there, you know how far everybody falls back. If you don't have that drafting help, you're just so much slower. And you're also taking a substantially longer trip around the racetrack than the 2703 and the 20 car are.
Yeah, exactly right. So you can see now they're kind of locked back on together. Starting to make the momentum work again. You saw one thing I saw Craig do that last time by is he kind of moved up a little bit to get a nice arc into the turn 3 there. But now you see that 11-17, they've been able to lock on together. You got that tandem we talk about. I think Matt's going to be able to clear. The question is, can Chad clear or not? He barely clears the 27 car. So say now we got 11-17 running first and second here.
Yeah, one thing I want to kind of mention too, I talked about the 20 Alberto Lopez having a little bit of nose damage, and he was not able to get up to the bumper of that 03 of Kevin Hash, and I think that really, really is hurting Craig Forsyth and Kevin Hath there on that bottom line.
Yeah, so yeah, definitely I'd say I think he's just doing all he can to hold on right now with that damage. I think he was one of those that lost that fast pair early on, so I'd say he's just having to make do with the best he's got here. So hopefully he's able to hang on to it right now. As you see the 03 Kevin Hash, he's going to jump to the top of the 27 of Craig Forsyth. But as I say, he's got John Brill behind him for the moment. But I say John kind of looked like he thought about filling that bottom line there, but it looks like he's going to stay up top here.
Yeah, we've seen quite a bit of speed out of John Brill today, and most of it's been on that top side. So he's very, very comfortable where he is.
Yeah, I was saying that's what I like to see that from John, because I say usually with John, I say kind of like with him and Dwight Plush, they usually kind of just cruise in the back, and just kind of bide their time and then try to see if they can make something happen later in the run. But I'll say John's actually been a lot more aggressive tonight, which is a great thing to see. I think he's actually kind of showing more of his super speedway prowess than some of the drivers might have realized. So it's good to see him up here running up front. So hopefully he can kind of continue this run all the way to the end.
Now just look at the run that they're getting on that top side as John's just pressed on the 03 Kevin Hash's bumper.
Yeah, you can see there he makes sure he's separated enough on the entry to be able to, for him also to see the entry. But then also, I say this is not a track you really want to push through the turns at least not at this point in the race. But yeah, you're exactly right. He's doing a really good job of staying with that 03 car, trying to keep that momentum going. But yeah, so right now these guys running 2x2, and that's been able to get Kevin Hash just to the outside of that 11 of Matt Wagner.
And one of the things we've seen, they're able to get such big runs that, on the top side coming off the corner, if they're able to push, you can easily clear 2 or 3 cars.
Yeah, exactly right. So now you see the outside line. Here comes Gabe Butler in the one machine. So he's back on the lead lap here, Dale. He's already worked his way just about to the top 10. Now trying to find a way. So he's in the third line here, trying to find his way back to the middle if he can. However, he's got some good help, as I was about to say, from the 3 of Bobby Hash. But actually, we're going to have contact here. Caution's going to come out. A lot of cars caught up in this one again. Yeah, yellow's out here. Bobby Hash, just unfortunately some contact there. It's going to bring the yellow out. That's what's going to be with 30 to go when this yellow flag flew here. Let's go back and take another look. So we'll watch them as they come into turns 1 and 2. And you see, I think it looks like, to me, just Bobby kind of swings down as it kind of the 88 and 3 just kind of meet in the middle there. But unfortunately, Bobby being on the outside line is going to shove him into the outside wall, and then from there he's just along for the ride. And then unfortunately, he's going to catch a few guys out just at the wrong time. You see the 86 Kyle Hess. He's going to come right into the path of that 53 of Quabi Brooks. I think you see a couple other cars kind of pile in here as well. Yeah, Jim Brooks actually gets into the 53 as well. And then you see in the back there, I think I see Todd Siebels. He takes a pretty decent shot also. So that might be it, unfortunately, for the 76 of Jim Brooks. I think that was his last faster pair, or he already used his faster pair, I should say. As I'm watching, you see the 101 there of Randy Miner. He actually catches the outside wall in the Navy machine as well here. And then 26 of Paul Patterson just misses the side. I'll also take a look from Dale Willoughby's point of view, because I don't know if he got in that or not, but if he didn't, it was by the skin of his teeth as well.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Jim Brooks has used a faster pair. I also believe that the 3 machine of Bobby Hash used a faster pair in that first incident as well.
So we're going to hop on board here. Dale Willoughby, watch him try to work his way through this wreck. By here, it looks like it's clear, but he's still having to go. You see he moves left, moves more left. I think he just caught the left rear of, or right rear of Nick Manfredi, but somehow Dale Willoughby gets through that. I mean, just hats off to him. That was some driving there by that number 7 car. All right, so we got some drivers here in the pits. Everybody's getting fuel, it looks like. I see the 53 of Quabi Brooks just leaving the pits. I think, actually, it looks like he may have had to use a faster pair possibly, as well as he's just rolling out now. And still significant damage to that 53 car. So now I want to go check on Matt quick and see if he may have got the lucky dog or not on this yellow. Because I believe it. I don't see anybody else a lap or more down here that's still on track. So I feel like it has to have gone to the 89, but right now not showing him. Don't see him going around there. So not sure. It may have actually been where nobody may have actually got the lucky dog this time by.
Yeah, he's out there. I mean, he looks like he expects it, or is just going to take a wave around. But with 16 laps on his fuel run, I don't see taking a wave around, honestly.
Yeah, I mean that's gonna have to put him in the pits, like you said, within maybe another like 5 laps after the restart. So, not sure if he had any involvement with the incident. I think it was all behind him. So it's kind of odd why he wouldn't be getting that wave around here. But with the pit stop cycle, though, as you can see, it looks like Kevin Hash, I believe in the 03, he's going to win the race off of pit road. Matt Wagner come out in second, and then it looks like Harrison Womack in third in that 28 machine. So. Yeah, kind of an odd situation here. So there are a lot of drivers here sitting in the pits getting repairs done to their cars. You got Jim Brooks, Eric Laurie, Randy Miner, Paul Patterson, Kyle Hess, Quabby Brooks, and Todd Siebels. All those drivers in the pits here at the moment trying to get damage repaired to their machines. And now you see that 89, like you said, Dale, Matt Quick, he's going to hit pit road here. Say unfortunate because I say, like you said, I think he should have been the one eligible for that lucky dog, but obviously something may have happened that we missed when that all happened.
Yeah, it is unfortunate. Like I said, I couldn't see him taking a wave around with so much time spent on the track already, showing 17 laps now. So he's definitely going to have to get fuel.
Yeah, so now the question is going to be see who all also is going to be trapped a lap or more down. Again, a lot of drivers here topping off on the one to go. Don't know if that's going to be the winning call because I say again, everybody's going to have to still pit one more time. It'll shorten that pit stop a little bit, but yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on things for that one. So right now we've got looks like about 10 cars there did not top off. 11th on back went ahead and did. So it's gonna be interesting to see who has what left with this. I say definitely been a bit of an attrition-filled race. Let's say only the 4 cautions, but those cautions have taken out a lot of cars here tonight.
Yeah, not normally what we would necessarily see here at Area 51, but again, we're everybody's still adjusting to this new car. You know, it's changed. There's still going to be some learning periods happen. I know we've had this Xfinity model for quite some time, but a lot of these guys just aren't used to racing it.
Yeah, exactly right. I mean, the setup's also different than I'm sure than what the Cup car felt like, and I mean, like you said, I mean, these cars are just going to drive just drive different. So. Like I said, it's a bit of an adjustment curve. I'm saying if there's a track where it's going to be an even more difficult place to do that adjustment curve, it's going to be at this iRacing Superspeedway. We just know how wild this track can be. Again, going about 230, 240 down the straights in the draft. So let's say when things happen, they're going to happen in a quick amount of time here. So pace car's about to pull in here. We're going to get things going again with 26 to go. One driver I feel bad I haven't really talked about at all is the 6 of Bud Steele. He's now up into that 8th position, so hopefully no commentators curse from me on that one, as now we wait for that 03 Kevin Hash to drop the hammer, and we are back underway here, 26 to go at the line.
Really a good start by everybody, as you don't see anybody lag back. 11 of Matt Wagner is able to drop immediately to the bottom there.
Yeah, Matt did exactly what he needed to get to the inside as fast as he could, not losing the additional position. So we've seen Matt be aggressive, try to get to the front right away. So we'll see if he does the same here as he comes out of turn number 2. This time looks like he's going to stay in line, maybe wait for that outside line to start forming before he jumps to that top. But yeah, right now though we got about the top 5 or 6 here lined up single file. Then again, John Brill, he's kind of been the outside line driver tonight as he sits out there in that about the 6th or so position.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely where we've seen him, want to run. He's fast up there. He's done very well so far. So I don't suspect he's going to move down anytime soon.
Yes, and to me, I mean I prefer. Let's say if I'm in that kind of position, actually the inside line or the outside line, I really don't mind it myself, because if I'm kind of, let's say 5-6 cars deep on the inside row, I worry that I'm going to have the exact same thing happen to me as we saw earlier, where you kind of just turn in too soon, catch that apron and wash up real bad. Let's say this track of all of them is definitely the most difficult. Do see a handful of drivers still sitting in the pits here as well. Todd Siebels, Kyle Hess, Randy Miner, Matt Quick. Actually, he had to jump in. Not sure if that was just a real quick stop for the 89 car, so I'm not sure what that was for. But unfortunately, that might be putting him down to from 2 to 3 laps down. And then there are a handful of drivers here that are just going to limp along here, try to survive, I think, and just try to get a finish tonight. You see the 53 of Quabi Brooks, so say still heavy damage to him. Jim Brooks got a modified in that 76 car. And unfortunately, Dale Willoughby, looks like he's actually lost the draft on that restart. Car looks pretty clean, but I'm not sure. Maybe he just restarted too far back, and that's what cost him on this restart here.
Yeah, disappointing day. You mentioned the 53 Quabi Brooks. He was up there, made some good calls, was able to get out front and lead a little bit. So real disappointing for how that's ended up for him.
Yeah, so now I'm looking at this top line, though, Dale, a little bit further back here. You see the one of Gabe Butler. He's got Dude Conrad with him. You got Chad Wilkes with him as well. If there's a group of drivers that can make that third line work, it's going to be this group right here. As you can see, Gabe's starting to get locked on with the 8 car. 17's trying to do the same here. So, and you can see they're starting to make some pretty good time up top.
Yeah, they are coming up on Matt Quick. So it's going to kind of throw a wrench in it a little bit as things are going to get tight here coming off the corner.
Yeah, I see Dean Wilkinson. He jumps to the middle. It's like he wanted to try to lead that outside group and kind of is in that position to do so as they just squeezed 4 wide there. It looks like between... Oh, actually, no, they make contact 8 and the 88 here. 88's going to get the worst of it. May bring out a yellow. He actually gets it pointed straight, so I think we're going to stay green now. But unfortunately, we saw they try to squeeze a little bit 4 wide there, and I think those guys just kind of fought for the same position. Unfortunately, like I said, the 88 got the worst of it, though.
Yeah, and it's been mentioned many times, but it's so difficult to see here in the corners, so you don't know, maybe they didn't realize that, there was lap traffic coming up. You don't really know what they could see from their point of view.
Yeah, so unfortunately, Michael looks like had to take a tow as well, so it's going to put him several laps down with that. So right now, I'd say things kind of stable up front right now. You see Matt Wagner pretty locked on here to that 0-3 of Kevin Hash. I think this is the right call for them to do so. However, we talked about the 55 with Dean Wilkinson trying to pick up the top side here. He has now picked up that number 1 of Gabe Butler, and they're starting to make some pretty good momentum here on that top group with just the 2 of them.
And they got, we still got, 21 laps to go, so they got plenty of time to make something happen and figure some things out as they're making great time.
I don't think it's going to take 21 laps. It might take 1 lap for this to happen. As you see, a few guys, as soon as they saw the momentum shift, they said, hey, I'm going to go up there too. You see Craig Forsyth, he hopped up there in the 27 car. 73 of Mark Brown, he does the same. So yeah, right now Gabe Butler giving that 55 of Dean Dean Wilkinson a big push here. Might be able to take over the lead here as they enter turn number 3.
Yeah, the bottom line's kind of non-existent right now. When you see 2 guys just power by everybody, it kind of changes your theory on things a little bit.
Yeah, you can see, though, I think the inside line kind of reformed and started being a little more aggressive on the push. Because you see Matt Wagner is able to kind of get back to the 0-3 Kevin Hash, and their speeds definitely picked back up. But as they say that, the 155 again lock on very well to one another. We'll see. This time looks like they have a better run here going into turn number 1.
I was watching Matt Wagner speed, and I was watching Dean Wilkins' speed, and there was about a 5-mile-an-hour difference between those 2 cars.
Yeah, and this is the exit speed you talked about, Dale. You see Dean gets a great push here off the back, off of turn 2 down the backstretch here. You can see he's easily cleared of that 0-3. Gabe Butler, he's cleared too. So now they're just going to try to stagger here, make the move happen. And yeah, so these guys now going to switch back to 1-2 again. Gabe Butler getting his lap back, now working his way all the way back up into that second position in number 1 machine.
Yeah, just no other way to put it but an impressive performance. He wanted to get there, and he's done it. It was pure horsepower and skill that did it,
Yeah, exactly. He just stayed locked onto the 55. We got trouble in the back. Oh, big hit in the back there. Handful of cars around there. Looks like Craig Forsyth may have been one of those that got the worst of it here. Also, I think I see the 73 of Mark Brown. He just had to take a tow already. So caution back out here, and actually going to be right inside the pit window here, Dale. So everybody's going to be coming in here for pit stop and tires and fuel. Sorry. Let's see what happened there. So we're watching the 27 Craig Forsyth. He's got John Burrell right behind him as they enter turn number 1. Everything looks okay. Oh, 73 Mark Brown just got a little bit high. So we talked about that wash up that you get. But look at John Burrow just gets by Matt Quick. Not so lucky, unfortunately. Let's say Matt takes another shot. Not the night for him. And then you see behind them Bud Steele. Oh my goodness. We'll have to watch that from Bud Steele's point of view because I think he just snuck through that as well. So we've had a lot of big incidents, but a lot of great avoidances as well. Say this time now by that 6 car Bud Steele.
Yeah, kind of, bad timing awards, I guess, because it throws any fuel strategy that anyone might have been playing straight out the window.
Exactly right. So you can see here's the smoke. You see Bud trying to react to it, figure out where to go, and then gets his load down nicely, but cuts left just at the right time there to slide underneath that 73 Mark Brown to keep that car as clean as he can. Still has a little bit of rear end damage, but I say that shouldn't be too big of an issue for him. As we said, we jump back live here. So yeah, so say now it's going to be all about the pit stops here. What kind of strategy do these drivers do? Is it going to be fuel only? Maybe I think we're just going to see as little fuel as possible to make it to the end here. I don't think we'll see any tires from at least the front runners. This does also give a few drivers the opportunity though to get some damage repaired to their machines as well here. I saw the 8 there, overshoots pit stall just a little bit. Yep, here goes Gabe Butler. Quick fuel stop for him. He's going to jump out actually looks like just next to the 55 Dean Wilkinson. Not sure who won the race, but it looks like the qualifying position with a nice pit stall for Gabe Butler actually going to put him restarting in the lead. Dean Wilkinson right behind him in second. Matt Wagner is going to cycle through in third, and I believe fourth's going to go to Kevin Hash. Again, though, I think this is a big break, though, for a handful of drivers that maybe needed to get some more damage repaired to their car, see if they can maybe hold up to the lead pack a little bit more. One of those, I feel like, that 7 of Dale Willoughby, like I said, I think he had pace. I think he just maybe was restarting too far back there. So now he's going to be more in the thick of things here. He'll be able to restart up with this double file restart here. So we'll see if that 7 can do anything with this. Hopefully, kind of an advantage on the track position on this restart.
Yeah, and he does have a little bit of front end damage here. It's shoved in. But if he gets a couple guys behind him that can push, I mean, it's not out of the question for him to be able to stay in the draft. It's not ideal, obviously, but he's now in a position where he might possibly be able to stay up with lead draft.
Yeah, I think if I'm in that situation for that 7, I think if you can, you try to get to the bottom and just try to keep the momentum. I feel like the bottom line checks up the most, if any line does. I think that's going to be his best opportunity to kind of stay with the field here. So we just got the 1 to go. Say a few drivers again staying in the pits here, getting absolutely as much as possible damage repairs done to their car. So they're going to have to hustle out of the pits here to try to stay on the lead lap, which I think I just saw 73 Mark Brown very, very close on the pit exit. I think he just beat the clock there, beat the pace car out. So he's going to hang on to the tail end of, or actually he's going to be just 1 lap down in that number 73 car, if I'm not mistaken. And then we got the one in Gabe Butler. He's rolling the apron here, trying to save as much fuel as possible. So now it's going to be all about this restart, see who can kind of get lined up where. Right now you got the 1 and the 03. They're kind of right now not on the same line as one another. I suspect we'll see them hook up at some point if they get the opportunity to. So now it's just going to be all about trying to make the right friends at the right time on this restart to kind of give you the last push here to the end. So we're going to be restarting this in Dale with 15 to go.
Yeah, I do. I suspect that Kevin Hash and Gabe Butler is going to link up, and then I believe that's a dangerous combination. I think that's going to be the race-winning combination, but I don't want to count out the 17 of Chad Wilkes or the 81 of Todd Merkel up here.
Yeah, exactly right. So, I mean, And I said, this is where a lot of the drivers wanted to be. They want to be in contention here on this potentially final restart. Let's say, obviously, fuel no longer a concern, so they know they can make it to the end here. I think they actually probably feel pretty good about green, white, checkers as well. So we'll have to wait and see. But now it's going to be all about this restart here as the pace car peels off. It's going to put it into the hands of that number 1 of Gabe Butler. And it looks like he's going to wait a little longer to go. And now he's down away. Looks like waited for the green flag to fly as we restart here. 15 to go here at iRacing Superspeedway.
Yeah, Kevin Hash got a great start, and he did exactly that. Jumped to the bottom, and he's now going to be pushing his buddy down to the rest of the front stretch here.
Yeah, it was a great restart for Kevin, able to clear the 55 as well of Dean Wilkinson to get to the inside line. I'll say this is, now if you're Matt Wagner, so this is the exact opposite of what you're looking for there. Kind of get pinned to the outside, don't have any close help right behind you here. So now you just got to try to wait and just try to see if you can get somebody to get up to you and get that momentum going to get that top side going again. Looks like he's been able to pick up that 90 of John Brill here.
Yeah, John Brill, you know, they would have hoped that the 8-car Dude Conrad would have stayed up there with him. He liked to go to the bottom side. But they do also have, who is that, the 28 of Harrison Walmack making a move up top.
Yeah, say Harrison, he's jumped to the top here as well. So I'll say now it's all about just kind of that formation. You got to stay locked onto one another. You kind of got to stay in line. Obviously, again, you can't really push through the turns, but if you can stay close to one another through the turns, that's going to be your best chance to kind of keep that momentum, especially coming through and on the exit of these turns. But right now you can see just that inside line just formed very well right now. It's going to be very difficult to make anything happen, I think, on that top side.
Yeah, and when you talk about, you know, being as close to the corner and being able to get back right to pushing as soon as they come off, you saw that with the one in the 55. I mean, it was 2 cars that pretty much just muscled their way to the front of the field.
Yeah, exactly right. So you can see Matt trying to kind of get any sort of momentum he can on that outside line, but just isn't getting the help he needs. Now you see Chad Wilkes looks like he's thinking about peeking to the outside. He does stay to the outside line. Wasn't sure if that was just to breathe the car or not, but yeah, so Chad Wilkes, he's going to jump top. I don't think we're going to see Matt. Oh, actually, Matt Wagner gets way high there in 1 and 2, and so that's going to force the 17 there to duck back into line there. So Matt Wagner didn't quite get the entry he needed to, and actually caution is back out here. We got trouble behind the field, and unfortunately, it's going to be the 90 of John Brill. Hopefully has a fast repair still in store for him. He's going to get rolling again, it looks like. But yeah, so unfortunately he gets caught up in that one. I think it may have been just related to that kind of that big check up there on the entry of 1. So watch the 90 of John Brill here as he comes into turn number 1. You see Matt Wagner wash up way up the track there. And so we'll see as he comes back down what happens there. And you see actually Matt comes down right in front of the 11. Oh yeah, John Brill, he reacts, so he jumps to the top line. But unfortunately at that point it was just too late to do, and he actually kind of side swipes, or doors I should say, the 27 of Craig Forsyth. Unfortunately, it looks like Bud Steele may have got a pretty big piece of that as well. In the 6 machine, to say we'll see if the nose pops back, or the hood pops back up, but right now that hood is still missing. So unfortunately I think Bud Steele taking a bit of a hit there. Alright, so caution here, Outdale, 12 to go. I don't think we're going to see really anybody up front pit. Again, I think this is going to be a great opportunity for some of those drivers that still maybe have some damage to repair to have a chance here to get some more repairs done to their cars. But I think if you're in that top 10 or so positions, you're probably staying out here, just saving every ounce of fuel you can. So we'll keep an eye on the pit stop side of things. Again, I don't see anybody here jumping in, so I think it's exactly what we talked about. So yeah, it looks like about Dale Willoughby is going to be the first to come in. So I think some more damage being fixed to his car, Bud Steele as well. And you see Quabby Brooks, Jim Brooks, John Brill, all hitting the pits as well. And so this is where I say no bias or anything. Actually, as I say that, it looks like the 7 car actually stops there and takes a tow here. So let's see what that's about. I say maybe just his best way to get some damage repairs done to that car. The one I'm hoping for, say again, try not to be biased there, but I really would like to see that 90 of John Brill have a fast repair to give this one more crack at it.
Yeah, he's done very well so far. We've seen him taking a lot of risks that maybe other people weren't willing to. So, I mean, if anybody deserves to have one more crack at it, I'm going to go with the 90 John Brill does.
And he did. I said that car looks pristine again. I say he's getting tires and back on the machine as well, so he's going to give it everything here. Say pretty much that car, give it a clean bill of health here. So he's going to roll back out. I'll see the 53 of Quabi Brooks rolling out pretty early here, so I think he may have finally got all of his damage repairs done to that 53 machine. So that's going to leave, unfortunately, though, like I said, Bud Steele, he's still getting damage repairs done to that 6 car. He's got some pretty severe damage. Jim Brooks also still getting some damage repairs as well. Do need to mention, Mark Brown, I believe, just got his lap back, so he got the wave around. He's going to be back on the lead lap here as well. So we'll keep an eye and see how that's going to go. So we'll jump back up front. Apologies for the background noise. But yeah, so we'll keep an eye here and see what we got going on. Say we're going to be restarting this one, Dale, with 10 to go.
You know, just looking at who we got up here and previous winners this season, you had Gabe Butler has a win. You have Kevin Hash has a win. Chad Wilkes has a win. But that's pretty much it in this top 10.
Yeah, you're exactly right, though, Dale. I'll say we've had a lot of parity this season with the Superspeedway Cup, Superspeedway Series, I should say, with a lot of winners. Not a lot of I don't know if have we had 2-time winners yet, or are we still running all first? Only one winner this season.
We are still single win.
Yes, I'm pulling up the notes now. You're right. So Kevin Freeze with the opener. Then Quabi Brooks, Chad Wilkes, Kevin Hash, Jim Brooks, Gabe Butler, Raymond Rittenauer. So you're right, though. So, I mean, you look at some of these guys, you got third place, you got fifth place. Neither of those drivers have a win this season. Obviously, the 28 hasn't won yet with him being relatively new to the series here. Then you got Dude Conrad there. Or, sorry, yeah, Dude Conrad. Who else was up there on the top side there? The 28 we just mentioned. The 20 of Alberto Lopez, the 11 of Matt Wagner. So, yeah, a lot of drivers here with some potential there to make something happen here.
Yeah, a lot of guys that definitely want to get their name put on in the record book for sure.
All right, so we're going to keep an eye on things over here. All right, so we're going to be restarting this one with 9 to go here, Dale. Again, right now outside the green-white checkered window. But say again, scheduled distance 75. We could definitely go extended distance on that. Again, I think with those cautions, I think everybody's feeling pretty good about the fuel window here. I said we've seen some drivers save just to make sure they have enough to get to the end here. So it's going to be fun to see what we got in store for us these remaining 9 laps. Yes, I suspect, yeah, I was about to say, I suspect we're going to see these front two here take off right together, and they exactly did that. So now that's 0-3. Kevin Hash going to try to see if he can time it where he can fall in behind the one of Gabe Butler. But I think Kevin almost got too good of a start here. Barely going to fit there right behind in front of the 55 as they enter turn number 1.
Yeah, like you said, it was almost too good. Another second or two, and Dean Wilkinson would have had the position.
You see the 8 of Dude Conrad. He's hopped to the top. No help as of yet for him, though. So we'll see. Now you see 1, Alberto Lopez. He's going to follow him to the top. Matt Wagner's peeking up to the top side here as well. Mention the 3 of Bobby Hash. I mean, he's back into the mix as well here, Dale, in that number 3 Oreo machine. So he's not given up yet, as well as now you see Matt Wagner jump back to the inside line. The momentum just was not there up on the top side as of yet. And I think that's going to be the trick, is to figure out when is the time to make that move to the top and find that person that you feel like will stay with you the rest of the way.
Yeah, me and Matt Wagner are the same in our preferred line. I want to be in whatever line's moving.
Yeah, so right now, say the inside line is definitely the line that's moving here. So say as you can see the whole front group pretty much single file right now. You see the 8 again, still Dude Conrad trying to make the top happen, but just isn't getting anything going there. And you see now you got the 90 of John Brill. He's peeking to the outside, but you can see the 8 of Eric Laurie. We're trying to see where he's going to go. He's going to jump back low, so unfortunately for that number 90 of John Brill isn't going to get the restart, the help that he was looking for there. But again, still a lot of time to be able to rebound and get some momentum built back up there. Yeah,
I kind of expected some moves to be made. I thought the 3 was going to jump around there. but noticed nobody was going with him, so he tucked back into the bottom lane. I thought we was going to see a little more shuffling as we come around to what, 6 to go, 7 to go.
7 to go here. So yeah, so it's starting to get to crunch time. I think we are going to definitely see some drivers start to make those jumps once they feel like it's really time to make it happen. But I mean, here at iRacing Superspeedway, I mean, you can get huge momentum shifts. And so, I mean, some of these guys might be thinking like, hey, if we wait till the white, then we can really make a big push there and know we're going to make it to the end, to the checkered flag. So I think some of these guys are just really biding their time to figure out when is the right time to make that move here. I say a couple, again, I think you're going to find some drivers that are just going to try to find partners that maybe they don't normally work with, but again, to have a chance at the win, I think that's what we're going to see here. So for me, I'm watching the 81 Todd Merkel with the 28 and the 11. I think those three could be ones to kind of start off this process on this to make that top side happen.
Yeah, and Todd Merkel's, he's right up there on the 17 of Chad Wilkes. So when the time comes, he's not going to have very far to go.
Yes, and that's where we've seen sometimes too where some of the drivers, they'll roll back basically, kind of build that gap and then use the momentum to shift and kind of shoot back forward. So we'll see if that's maybe something he does. He rolls back a little bit to the 20 machine, then makes that big push to the outside. But I say right now, we're going to be coming around here 5 to go. Everybody's still staying single file for the moment, but at some point somebody's going to be the one to make that move. Just the question is going to be who and from where.
Yeah, it's definitely not over, and I can promise you one thing, that the finishing order will not be the order we currently stand.
Yeah, so the only two positions I could see staying fairly similar are going to be right now the 1 and 2. I think Gabe Butler, Kevin Hatch, I think those two are going to be pretty much dedicated to one another here, unless Kevin gets enough opening where he has a chance to make a move on Gabe coming to the checkered, I should say, off of 4. Otherwise, I think if there's an outside line forming, I do not think we'll see that 0-3 jump away from the 1.
Yeah, and really you don't. It looks like the 28 actually, as I'm getting ready to say that, makes a move. And there goes Todd Merkel, exactly how you said it would happen.
Every so often I'll say, what is it? A blind squirrel finds a nut sometimes. So so right now we got the top line starting to form. Now it's just going to be all about them working together. And as I say that, you see the 20, he jumps back to the inside. I think he saw that door start to close a little bit. You see that's actually allowed Bobby Hash to grab a spot from Matt Wagner there. So move Bobby one step closer here as well. But unfortunately, unfortunately now Todd Merkel, he's just out solo here on that top side.
Yeah, not really getting a lot of help up there.
But still holding really strong, even by himself here. So if he can get somebody to get to the back bumper and just push him, I think Todd really could have a chance to push this way forward. And now here comes the 17 of Chad Wilkes. He's going to bring the 28 along with him. So now here's the move that we see coming with 3 to go here. Todd Merkel's going to try to latch onto these guys as well. So you got Chad Wilkes. He's going to lead the outside line with that 28 of Harrison Womack. And as soon as I say that, Harrison, he's going to jump back to the inside line, which is going to allow Todd Merkel to get to the back of that 17 car. So right now Harrison kind of jumps top and keeps jumping to the bottom here. But now Todd Merkel looks like he's pretty committed to the back of that 17 car.
Yeah, I thought the 11 of Matt Wagner was going to take the 23 wide there. He ended up not doing it. But you can tell everybody's starting to get impatient.
Yeah, I mean, it's go time. Everybody come around here, 2 to go. I say, obviously, once we get the white flag, then we know it's a race, and they'll race to the finish. However, if there's any contact that brings out a yellow before then, we will rack them up, and we'll have 3 attempts of that green-white checkered finish. As now Matt Wagner, he does jump to the top side. As you can see, you saw the 3 there, Bobby Wagner wash up just a little bit. Matt had to react to it, but he's going to be able to fall in line here behind that 17. And now here comes the 28 of Harrison Womack. He's going to try to lead this top group now.
Got a couple more guys poking their head up there. You got the 8, the 48, and the 44 on the top side make a move.
Yeah, exactly right. So some big moves starting to happen now. I'll say now Harrison Womack, he didn't get any help. You almost wonder if that's just from him dropping to the inside. Nobody else wanted to help him out as the leader on the top side. And so I think that's what we're seeing here as we're just about to get to that white flag, and we will get there. So this is the final lap here with the Xfinity cars here at iRacing Superspeedway. You see the 55 Dean Wilkinson, he jumps to the top. That's going to open the door now for the 81 of Todd Merkel to run to the inside line here coming out of turn number 2.
Yeah, if Harrison Womack can push a 55 as well as the 1 did, they'll be in good shape.
Yeah, the question is going to be, does anybody have momentum to jump to the top? And his answer is no. I was curious to see if Todd was going to have a chance to get there, but you're right, though. That top side is pushing strong here through 3 and 4. You can see couldn't quite clear him off of into 3. So now, oh, they lined up together to have a chance. But you can see they're starting to bobble around. That's going to hurt the momentum here. So we'll see as they come to the line. Looks like Gabe Butler going to have a chance. Actually, here comes the 03 of Kevin Hash. Gabe Butler going to get the win over the 03 of Kevin Hash. And then Todd Merkel is going to get another podium finish here, 2 in a row. Last week at the All-Star race, again tonight here from the pole position to the 3rd spot. But Gabe Butler was not to be denied here tonight, Dale. He found a way to get back to the front and hold that spot.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about having the odds stacked against you. He definitely came back from some pretty trying times this race.
Yeah, exactly right. I mean, it's saying he didn't just ride around and try to make it happen. I mean, he went for it. I say he found ways to move to the front. I say he got to the tail in the lead lap multiple times to just be in position there. But I say when it was all said and done, though, I say he was able to hook up with that 0-3 of Kevin Hash. Those two able to. I said we talked about how tough it was going to be for those two to compete against one another, and again they were able to get that finish here tonight. So Gabe's going to break the streak. He will be our first driver to have multiple wins in the season here tonight at iRacing Superspeedway. Also getting the win at Talladega a few weeks ago. So going to be definitely a well-enjoyed win for him. Hard-fought one for sure as he burns it down on the front stretch. Alright, while we watch him celebrate, I believe we have been able to find our 3rd place finisher in that number 81 of Todd Merkel here. Alright, there he is. Let's go ahead and pull in our 3rd place finisher. Todd Merkel in the number 81. Wins the pole, finishes 3rd. Say obviously anything but a standard race for you guys tonight. I think if I'm not mistaken, I want to say you had to use your fast repair early and kind of keep that car clean till the end. How much of a handful was it to try to balance speed versus aggression there tonight?
Well, I'll tell you what, you really hit the nail on the head, too, because unfortunately I got caught up in one of those early big ones and did indeed have to use up my fast repair. So, yes, it was an extreme balancing act between, trying to lean on people a little bit and really keep a tight draft and also stay out of trouble.
I mean, you were able to do so very well. And I mean, we talked to you last week and you mentioned that like just whatever it is, these Xfinity cars just really seem to work with you. And I mean, it showed again tonight, like I said, getting the pole position. And Dale and I mentioned, I mean, to be able to get the pole when you're kind of up against some of the guys that we talk about, like we kind of joke, we call them our usual suspects. Those guys usually always take about the top 5 or so positions. So for you to be able to one up them, it's obviously showing that you definitely have something going for you with these cars. Just something works with you with them.
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping that my overall performance on these Sunday night Super Speedway series races will improve a little bit now that we're in the Xfinity cars. I guess I just have a better knack for them.
Yeah, I mean, whatever it's been, it's definitely been working. But yeah, you're right though. So you mentioned the big ones at the beginning, and I say that's what it was. I say we had the 6 cautions, which I mean, it's pretty normal for a super speedway race, but the wrecks that there were, say pretty much all of them except maybe 1 or 2 were just massive wrecks, probably taking about 5 to 10 cars each time around. I'll say, was there any time where you maybe thought about trying to run a different strategy versus being up front, or were you just kind of just run up front as safe as you could and just let the chips fall where they may?
Well, after I used that fast repair, I put it in high caution mode and just kind of rode around and was keeping an eye on my fuel mileage to see how that was going to go, and mostly just focusing on staying out of trouble. And I didn't really start leaning on it until probably about the last 5 laps.
Yeah, we saw you and a handful of drivers try to make that topside work. Just it seemed like we couldn't really get the commitment with the other drivers to really stay dedicated to one another. We'd see a couple cars jump up, and then one would drop to the bottom. You kind of lose that momentum. And then obviously, unfortunately, in the last lap, it looked like you just never got that cleared opportunity to jump to the top to try to make a move coming to the white there. Hindsight, obviously, kind of being 2020, was there anything that you felt like you could have or should have done different on those final couple laps to have a chance at Gabe and Kevin there?
Not really. I think I would have liked to have had another lap or two to give Chad Wilkes and I a chance at getting that outside to work. I think it was him out there with me for a couple of laps, but we couldn't get anything going. And then I saw that big hole down low and went for it. And I guess that on that last lap, that outside groove really fell apart a little bit. And yeah, I wound up sneaking up 2 more spots in that last, I guess, half a lap.
Yeah, it looked like you definitely made the right moves at the right time to get yourself the best finish you could. So it was definitely a wild one, like you said. There's a lot going on tonight with the strategies, of course, with those couple of cautions that we saw that really kind of shook the field up as well. But I mean, again, like you said, just this car and this combo seems to be been working really well for you. So it's been fun to see us. I look forward to kind of see if you can kind of continue it on, because obviously, if there's a time to really kind of peak and get to the best position you can, this is the time to do it, because you're right in the thick of things to try to get into that top 8 in the points, and obviously tonight's going to help you a long ways as well. So I'm guessing that's where you're kind of keeping your eyes, is looking for that top 8 position going into the. So right now we are what are we at? We got 2 more after tonight before the playoffs start.
Well, I hadn't been watching that very carefully, but I think I might now. The other interesting thing tonight, setting fast time and being on the pole. Oh boy, do I like that first pit stall. I don't know how many times, my pit stop would end, the car would come off the jacks, and I only have to go about a foot before I've crossed that line. And even other guys coming by me with a big run, it doesn't help them any. So I picked up quite a few spots getting off the pit road tonight. That was nice.
Yeah, having a pit stall towards the front definitely goes a long ways. So sometimes it can be definitely at tracks like this, it can be a little troublesome if you can't get kind of where you're not fully up to speed, like you said, where you're not maybe at that 65 by the time you hit the pit exit. That's usually only an issue under green, obviously, but like I said, you kind of just have to drop a gear and go just that little bit, and you're able to jump a couple spots there. So you're right, though. So obviously qualifying goes a long ways as well. But yeah, so you did it all tonight. So you had to qualified up front, had to work your way back up to the front, and then get it done at the end. So I mean, just again, great job for you tonight, Todd. Getting that top 3 2 weeks in a row here with the series here. So definitely want to give you the floor, though. Any thanks and shouts you'd like to give for that run tonight?
Well, as always, I want to thank you and Dale and the Green White Checker TV crew for doing the broadcast. That's really fun to watch. I want to thank the Area 51 organization for putting this whole thing together. It's so much fun. We are having such a good time. And then naturally, I got to help my guys out at Ross Pistons and Liberty's Gears and Driven Motor Oils, and of course my race shop, Merkel Racing Engines, powering this Ford Mustang up to the front. But anytime I can finish in a group, I'm looking at the list of names: Gabe Butler, Kevin Hash, Chad Wilkes, Dean Wilkinson. I mean, these are some heavy hitters up there, and I'm really proud to be a part of it right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly right. Is to be able to be in contention with like I said, the likes of those guys. I mean, that's something that speaks for itself, really. There, so it's also fun. I mean, we got kind of some engine competition, like you said. You got the Merkel Racing engines in your machine, obviously also powering your Pro Stock machine as well. I say we got some LS side of things as well with the Hash brothers. So it's great seeing kind of a little bit of both and on the side of those cars, and saying. Obviously in iRacing, but of course in the real world, you guys able to give some cars a lot of fun, good power to make some fun action going on the track.
Yeah, we actually do like cars, so this is not anything like just a video game for us. We enjoy cars of all types. But anyway, it's a super pleasure to talk to you 2 weeks in a row, and hopefully I'll be talking to you again soon.
Yes, I hope so. So it's always fun talking to you, Todd. But yeah, great job again tonight, sir, and look forward to catching in some future interviews here.
All right, you guys have a great night.
All right, so we're gonna go from one type of engine manufacturer on the Pro Stock Ford side of things to the Merkel Racing engines. Now we got to jump over to that 03 of Kevin Hash and say. And we talked about the traction compound that he's got. Obviously, the Hash Brothers performance also a part of things. But say we're going to get some more info here, Dale, because So we've talked about stripper glitter a little bit more with Kevin before, but I think we get some more insight as we know it's a traction compound, but so what I'll say, obviously with you guys, you and your brother doing the LS Performance engine side of things, is this something you guys do for maybe some no prep racing, or how did that come about for you guys?
Really, it's just a product I ended up buying, and I could not believe the actual performance gain that it had. Like I tell everybody, the first thing I did was out here in my driveway. I ain't got a whole lot of room, but I did a little burnout and I poured some on it, and it rained for a week solid after this. And I went out there and checked it, and it was still sticky after. So anytime we go to do some racing in Mexico, quotation marks, it's definitely a very big advantage to have if you can convince them to let you run it.
Yeah, that definitely makes a lot of sense then. But yeah, and that's what's neat about it. So like, obviously, we just talked to Todd. To say he's got the Merkle Racing engines on his side of things, and with his Pro Stock company, not company, but Pro Stock racing that he does on his side. So you and your brother with the Hash Brothers Performance with the LS side of things. So they got the little bit of the Ford versus Chevy going on with each other. Say I know, of course that's always all in good fun, and definitely very different types of racing, of course, with the Pro Stock side of things versus the Mexico racing, if you will. But I mean, man, for the race tonight though, started second, finished second. But it was all but an easy one tonight. So obviously you and Bobby were kind of controlling things up front early on, but then unfortunately a couple of incidents really kind of spread out the field and separated up a good chunk of you guys.
Yeah, it was definitely fun having him up there, and poor Ray had some technical issues. I think one of his monitors ended up dying on him there. But yeah, it was fun to have my own brother behind me there. He's the older brother, but he's still learning everything over here. So to be able to have him behind me and not really make any mistakes and keep us up front, it was definitely cool to be a part of. And I'm sure he'll rewatch the broadcast, especially when he was helping me here. Hopefully he'll listen to the interview too. But yeah, also I didn't know old Merkel was building Ford engines. I definitely got to start finishing ahead of him then.
So I could be mistaken, so I'll have to let you guys have a chat and find out for sure. But I kind of just made the assumption with him running Fords week in and week out. But so I could be wrong. So especially with those Pro Stock engines, you never know what those guys got going on in them. But so actually, I say that works out well. You and your brother working together. Trying to say yesterday, National Siblings Day. I'll say we always obviously joke about you and Kevin Freeze being Kevin and better Kevin. So I'll say, is there a competition between who's the better hash?
Well, usually if I finish ahead of him, nothing gets said. But if he finishes ahead of me, I never hear the end of it. As soon as the race finishes, he'll be the first one to bring it up. And usually it's already after I've had a bad race, so I'm a little bit aggravated at times. But it's all in good fun. I mean that's what keeps you driving, keeps giving you inspiration to do better, and definitely enjoy it.
That's what siblings are for, anyways. That's the running joke with my brother and I. Obviously, he didn't have the night he was looking for, say, but I can't compete with him since I'm stuck here in the booth. So I'll say, but the joke's always he's the favorite son between the two of us. So it's always all in good fun, like you said. And always fun to have that little bit of a sibling rivalry, be it as serious or not as it is, of course. But I mean, yeah, like I said, it's just a great run for you. Obviously, I think once we saw you and Gabe get hooked up there at the end, though. I was curious to see how strong you two would be, and kind of like Dale and I feel like we expected there. You two were very, very potent at the end. I saw you try to make that move at the end, just obviously not enough momentum to get there, but still, I mean, a great run for you tonight in that 0-3.
Oh yeah. Definitely having Gabe up there helped a lot. Early, I had John Brill push me to the front, had Wagner there behind me for a little bit. We were able to keep the bottom rolling and keep the speed there. Usually the top line seems to make a pretty good charge by, but it seemed like every time I needed help to get back toward the front, we could make the top line work, but the bottom definitely seemed to be one of the strongest ways to go, especially later in the run when the tires got hot. And I had watched Gabe come from the very far the back to the front twice there, one to get his lap back, one to get up to the lead. So I knew we'd be in pretty good shape. Hey, the rest of the guys didn't have as good finishes as they probably deserved, but yeah, definitely shout out to him. And if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have. I don't think we could have got 1 and 2 again. So definitely, congrats to him, and we'll see if we can't do it again next week as well.
Yeah, you guys had a stout run as always. Like I said, yeah, definitely event filled race for Gabe. They're trying to work his way up a couple of times there to get it done on his side as well. But you're right. I mean, you were with a lot of different drivers there tonight, like you mentioned. So you had John Brill with you. You had Matt Wagner a few times. I'll say I know obviously you're used to running with some of the guys like Gabe and them regularly. So I mean, how did it feel on your side to kind of have those pushes from various drivers? I'm guessing it's also nice to kind of feel like they're comfortable working with you as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, that's one of the biggest things I've tried to work on throughout my entire racing career. Is I've always wanted to be a guy that you either worried about being behind you because you're afraid they're going to go by you, or somebody that they feel like they can run with, and to be able to kind of be that guy. And nobody really had any worries of working with me. Hopefully nobody out there was thinking, "Oh my Lord, here's the 03 car, we're all going to die." But yeah, definitely fun to work with some different people. A couple people surprised me there tonight. I mean, I'll be honest, my brother kind of surprised me doing as well as he did. And, just looking forward to it. We'll see what this package can do and how many different faces it can bring up to the front.
Yeah, you're right. So it definitely has brought some different faces to the front here, which has been a lot of fun to see. So it's definitely going to, I think, make a couple other drivers have to step their game up that little bit extra. So before I let you go, though, so I definitely got to give you the floor here. Any thanks and shouts you'd like to give for that second place tonight?
Yeah, one shout out I gotta go ahead and do because he always messages me during these interviews is Larry. I think I'm gonna have to start returning the favor. But yeah, I couldn't win tonight because I'd upstage old Larry. Sponsor him, and he can only win once this season. You're gonna have to start ragging on him a little bit. But yeah, I mean, just all the guys get to work with Gabe, Ray, Quick. Quick done some great spotting there toward the end after he was wrecked out that helped us stay up front, and just being able to work with those guys, Lee, you guys for the broadcast, and we'll see if we can't repeat it again next week.
Yeah, it's a great run tonight, like I said, and that's what you love to hear about the teamwork side of things. Like I said, Matt Quick, not the night he was hoping for, but stays on, helps you guys out, kind of find where you need to do what you need to do to get those great results as well. So hats off to you guys for just all the teamwork and the selflessness that you guys do week in, week out.
Tenfold, we appreciate it.
All right, Dale, that leaves us one last driver to have a chat with, and that's going to be our race winner in that number one. So he was not to be denied this evening. Gabe Butler getting the win here tonight, started in third, goes a lap down, gets to the tail end of the lead lap. Then, unfortunately, the pit stop cycle didn't quite go to plan for him. Finally gets on the lead lap and then just marches his way towards the field. One of the few to really make that top line work there tonight. I think that was probably one of your harder fought races tonight, Gabe, having to work your way through the field a handful of times.
Oh yeah, it was a big battle. I just kind of got lucky there, getting behind a few good drivers like Dean, where they could hold their line. I could push really hard and get us up there, and so my thought process was whoever was in front of me was going to the front, whether they liked it or not.
Yeah, this is one of those situations. Yeah, you have the you see that one car in the rear view mirror, and you're like, okay, well, I think we know it's about to happen there. But I mean, again, just to be able to do what you did is obviously. There's times where when these races obviously will start wearing on you a little bit, and just like, okay, what's it going to take to make something happen? But like I said, kind of a little bit of everything for you tonight. Fight your way up there to be in a good spot for the pit stop cycles under green, of course, and then once you got your lap back, then to have to do the same thing again to get in contention for the win tonight. So, it was, like I said, it was a great job. Once you're able to hook up with somebody, you really just able to lock onto them there at the end, and just make it work there at the end. So. Was there anything for you? Obviously, kind of the second race with the Xfinity cars, but it looks like you guys put on really good shows with them last 2 weeks here on the iRacing Superspeedway. I know you've been a big part of the setups as well for these cars. So, what's been the biggest change for you between the Cup car and this Xfinity car?
I mean, that's easy. Just the raceability of this thing is insane. I mean, you see the runs that people could get, and I mean, if that was the Gen 6 car, there's no way I would have got to from the back to the front at all. So until they fix that, this is where it's at, either these or the trucks. I mean, you can just race the heck out of these things.
Yeah, you definitely did that tonight. Like I said, having to fight your way back to the front again a couple of times tonight. But man, I mean, again, just a great job for you tonight. It was hard fought to do that. Obviously, attrition on this one was definitely caught a few drivers out there. As they when there were those big ones, I mean they were big ones. I mean they took 5, 10 plus cars out, and say unfortunately you got caught up in one of those. I believe insights where I think you had to take a tow if I'm not mistaken to get. That's what kind of got you down that lap if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, the engine wouldn't start; it was gone, and I just couldn't make it to pit road. I mean, I was about 50 yards short. I wouldn't have made it to my pit anyway, and I had to tow. And I'm like, well, that's going to be 2 laps there for sure. But for some reason, it was only a lap down, and I was a little bit annoyed with the accident. I mean, it was nobody's fault, I guess, but it's just that this particular track, when you wreck, it's going to kill you, and a number of other cars, like you said. So, but anyway, I was just kind of fired up when I came back out, and I said, I'm going to try and get up to the front here and just get on the tail end of the lead lap. And not that I'd wish any ill luck on anybody else, but I was kind of hoping for a caution where I could get waved back around. So it just happened to work out that way. And I mean, I had a ton of help with a whole bunch of different guys, like Dude and Dean at different points, and and then Kevin at the end there. I mean, we marshaled that at the end. So I got tremendously lucky. Can't do it by yourself, obviously.
Nah, so there's obviously only so far you can go on your own, but at the same time, I mean, you got to have yourself in position there. So you did a little bit of everything tonight, Gabe, for that win. So, like you said, it's one of those things too. I think, like you said, when you get a little bit heated, possibly after those incidents, like all right, there's drivers that I mean they can use that, and it kind of helps propel them that little extra bit. So I say definitely could be something on your side as well. It helps you get that little bit extra out of those cars tonight, but. Yeah, I mean, just hats off tonight, Gabe. Say you're actually the first two-time winner this season, and say it's been first-time winners all throughout the season until tonight, with you getting that second win of the season. So great job again tonight, and of course, got to give you the floor though. Any thanks and shots you'd like to give for the win?
A huge shout out to the teammates, and especially Kevin there at the end. He stuck with me, and he just kind of helped marshal that those last few laps. He slowed down the pace a little bit, so they couldn't get a run there, a big run. And Area 51, of course, is up for broadcasting. Like I said, anytime I get a chance to talk to you, I mean, it's a blast to go back and watch these things, and your analysis and everything. It's always spot on. So everybody really appreciates that and enjoys it.
No, I appreciate it. So like I said, you guys always put on a lot of good shows for us to be able to do these on. So yeah, I mean, hats off again. As we watch you do some more burnouts here on that front stretch. But yeah, hard fought win for you tonight, Gabe. Let's say well earned. I'm sure be worth taking a little bit of a break, enjoy this one, and then go into that last couple of races before we hit that playoff final three. So it's gonna be a lot of fun to see what we got in store for us for that playoff chase.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to it. Can't wait.
All right, congrats again, Gabe. All right, Dale, that's our race winner in that number 1 car. As you can see, actually, he's lining up with his pusher from earlier this evening in that number 03 of Kevin Hash. So it just shows, again, the kind of the respect and the teamwork that those two will have with one another here to get in the win tonight, get in the 1-2 finish, I should say, actually, tonight at iRacing Superspeedway. But yeah, so next week, obviously, going to be back at the normal 2.66 mile tracks, Talladega, Daytona. We'll see what these cars have in store for those ones coming up next week. All right, so with that, though, we got to go over our final standings. Obviously, already talked to our top 3 finishers. Gabe Butler winning by just under, I should say, 0.04 of a second over Kevin Hash. Todd Merkel there, 0.08 out. Then you got Dean Wilkinson able to hold off Chad Wilkes for that 4th position. Matt Wagner brings it home in 6th. Not what he was hoping for, I'm sure, but still a great result for him overall after the bad luck he's been having in the previous races. Bobby Hash, great run for him, 7th position. Harrison Womack, I believe new to the series, but going to be one to keep an eye on for sure the rest of the way out. And you got Dude Conrad in 9th, great recovery for him. Alberto Lopez finally breaks through in the top 10 with finally getting a little bit of luck on his side as well. We've seen him be in contention, just not having the luck most of these races, so a great run for him as well. 11th through 20th, some of these drivers not the nights they're hoping for. You got Dwight Plesh in the 44, grabs in 11th place. Nick Monfretti in 12th. Craig Forsyth brings home in 13th. And these drivers, unfortunately, the damage just not able to keep up with the field. And so some of them lost the draft as well. Say Eric Laurie, 14, John Brill, 15, not at all showing the speed he's had tonight. It was a great run for him tonight. That 90 just did not get the restart he needed to be able to stay up in that lead pack. Say Quabi Brooks up front early. Unfortunately, damage cost him a solid probably top 10 or so result. Say similar situations there for Bud Steele, Jim Brooks as well. And unfortunately, these drivers finishing a lap or more down: James Ledford, Paul Patterson, and then Mark Brown, Randy Miner, Dale Willoughby, Matt Quick, Michael Spell, Kyle Hess, Todd Siebels, Raymond Rittenauer, and Roy Grandy. Dale, not sure if you're back yet or not. If you had any final thoughts on this one tonight, though.
No, yeah, I hear I had it muted on accident. Really impressive run. What the 1 in the 55 did to just drive around everybody by themselves was something like we haven't seen yet. So I'm really happy personally with the way the league has moved to this Xfinity car, and I'm excited for the rest of the season.
Yeah, same here goes for me. I say, and again, we talked about before. It's what you like to see. Obviously, iRacing making adjustments to the Cup cars. Some people might enjoy it. Say, this doesn't seem like to us, at least from where we were, it doesn't seem like it put on the racing that these guys were used to seeing. So, made a mid-season adjustment, which is a pretty big deal for a lot of leagues to do something like that. So, switch over to the Xfinity cars last week with the All-Star race. Continued on tonight here for another points paying events, and next week will be. So next 2 weeks, Daytona, Talladega, so it'll be fun to see what they can do there. But just based on the racing, though, tonight, I think that was the right call by all the admins. And so hats off to them. Hats off to the drivers as well, making quick adjustments to the cars. Those spending the time and effort to make sure the setups are good to go for it as well. So overall, just a great team and group effort by all the drivers, admins, and everybody alike to put on good shows week in, week out. All right, so with that, congrats again to our top 3, Gabe Butler, Kevin Hash, Todd Merkel. Dale, as always, appreciate you joining me in the booth. Always a blast to do this with you. So I look forward to catching you on Thursday on the Cup side of things. So always fun, but looking forward to more with you.
Yeah, appreciate it, man.
All right, so again, hope you all enjoyed the race tonight. Congrats again to all of our drivers. Hopefully we'll catch you on Tuesday. We'll be back for the Indy Series at Milwaukee. I'll be with Steve Goschuk for that one. So as always, if you can, please try to stay home, stay safe, and wash your hands, and have a good night.